And yeah, other than that, you can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I'm trying to put out videos. I'm gonna start trying to be more consistent with that. My email, southbostonbilly@gmail.com. You can reach me there as well. And
All right, here we are. I think it started. Let me see. Real life, hard time, real talk. This is episode 2. Welcome, followers, supporters, and hopefully a couple new people will watch this video. The last video got about 1.6k views, and that's pretty good for an episode 1. I got a guest here that I don't know if a lot of you know. He spent a lot of his time away, but there's a reason that I wanted to get him on here. He's got a great story. He helps a lot of people today. He's got a great story of resilience, and he's been through it just like a lot of us. I know he's got a similar story to me, and I couldn't wait to have him on tonight. He's a good friend of mine as well. His name's Billy Coleman from Southie, right over the water. I'm going to let him get into his story right now. But thanks for everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll get into everything else afterwards. But let's let Billy share a little of his story. Let him know a little about yourself, Bill.
all right, thanks, John. I appreciate it. Appreciate you having me on. So yeah, like John said, I'm from South Boston. I grew up in the D Street projects. Life was, when I was little, it was crazy. It was chaotic. In and out of foster homes at an early age. My dad was murdered when I was 3. He was murdered in the projects. My mother he was 19. My mother was 18.
My father was murdered at 33. That's crazy.
Yeah,
close those
young.
stories are.
And what's crazy is I never really even, like, up until I was probably like 12, I never even thought about it. Like when my grandmother died, that's when I really, like, it hit me that I didn't have a dad. Like, I don't know, it was just normal, right? So my mother was an addict. She was alcoholic, drug addict. She had a lot of traumas, a lot of mental health issues that, back then people was just, that's just Simona being Simona, right? I mean, she's fine, But yeah, so eventually my grandmother got custody of me and my sister, and we stayed with her. So like I said, till I was like 12, till I was 5th grade, right before I graduated, 5th grade, she died. And life was good, with my grandmother. There was chaos all involved, right? I had my 2 uncles lived with me. They were like my older brothers, kind of. So they were always getting into shit, and my mother would come and visit, and she had her new boyfriend. My little sister and brother's dad was super abusive. He was an alcoholic, a woman beater. There was times where my mother would come, and she came to visit us on D Street. We're at my grandmother's. We lived right on D Street, on the 3rd floor. She came up to visit us, and she was great. Like, she was silly and happy. Like, there was these rare moments with my mom that were just, things that I hold on and cherish. And those were one of them. And I remember I wanted her to stay over, and he was downstairs waiting for her, and she was like, all right, I'm gonna go tell him I'm gonna stay. And she went out, and next thing, there was just like chaos. My cousin Michelle, who was watching me, she runs out, and her friend runs out, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, I gotta be probably like maybe 10, 11. And I run out in the hallway, and I run down to the 2nd floor, and my mother turns the corner, and I see her, just half her face covered in blood, and her shirt's all ripped, and I just, like, I snapped. I ran back up to my grandmother's, and I ran in the house. I got the biggest butcher knife we had in the kitchen, and I flew down the stairs, and I'll never forget it. My cousin's friend chased me all the way downstairs trying to stop me, and he was coming in the hallway as I turned the corner, and I just swung the knife, and she grabbed my shoulder at the same time, and her grabbing my shoulder probably stopped. You know, the tip of the knife had to be touching his throat. It was that close. You know, and I just wanted to kill him. You know, I didn't care. And then they got me out of there.
People don't understand that rage. It's
No.
funny how many people that
I mean,
watch.
it's how many times can you see, you know, your mother beat
Right.
up and bloodied and not, you know, like this man left. We actually lived in Charlestown. It's funny, we were really little. We lived in Bunker Hill Projects. My mother had an apartment over there. She was waiting for an apartment in South Boston. And we lived over here probably for like a good 6 months, maybe even a year. And I remember, I'll never forget, I wish I could remember what this lady's name was, the old lady that lived next door to us. I was really little. I was like probably like 6. My sister was 3. We're in the parlor watching TV, watching cartoons or something, and this guy's in the bathroom drowning my mother. And he left her there. He left her drowning in that bathtub and walked right out the door. Didn't say a word. Left the door open. Luckily, that door didn't close. And the old woman next door was just curious why our door was open and poked her head in, you know, and asked me, "Hey, where's your mom?" And I said, "I think she's in the shower." She said, "I'm just gonna go check on her." She went in, thank God, and found my mother drowned in the bathtub, pulled her out, started giving her CPR, called 911, saved her life, but she ended up with a collapsed lung from that, you know, and then she still went back to this man.
Yeah.
You know, and it was a long time, so it was just a lot of that, you know, growing up, a lot of chaos, and, you know, a lot of, all my role models were criminals or, you know what I mean, and or drug addicts, you know, but it was crazy because, like, there was these pockets of time where it was just so fun too. You know, there was times when my mother was clean when she had us, and like she would be silly and funny, and like, you know, she'd go grab all the girls in the neighborhood, bring them in the house, fill up water balloons, and then attack all the boys, and then let them hide in the house and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she would do silly stuff like that. Like she was like everyone's mother in the neighborhood, and you know, she just had a tough time, man. And then, yeah, she ended up back with him. My grandmother died. My mother ended up moving in to take care of my grandmother when she got sick. And they ended up keeping the apartment when my grandmother died. You know, so we stayed there in D Street. And I stayed for a little while, and you know, until I just couldn't take it anymore. And I'm like, I'm out. You know, I moved. I was on punishment every night, pretty much. Like that was grounded almost my whole life from like probably like 13 to 15 till I moved out.
At that point, it's hard for a mother to step in and try to.
Yeah, you're already out of control.
Discipline.
I mean, and you're almost at that age, you know, from our neighborhoods too.
Yeah.
Like at that age, we're already damn near grown men. We've already gone through so much.
I didn't listen.
Right.
To my mother. I respected her.
Yeah.
Which is.
Oh yeah.
In a weird way, sounds like you're disrespecting her, but I didn't talk.
Right.
I would never talk to her in a disrespectful way.
Right.
But I just didn't. You know, I
just
still
didn't
did
obey
what
the
I
rules
wanted.
and stuff. Yeah. I was the same. My mother was probably the only person on this planet that I've ever been afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and she was all of 4'11". You know what I mean? But the funny thing is, my mother never hit me growing up. She never put her hands on me because my grandmother would hit her. You know what I mean? I was my grandmother's baby. So like my mom never hit us as kids, and that's why we always went to foster homes. Was because my mother would beat up the next door neighbor.
Right.
And they'd call DSS and say she's beating us, and they'd come and the worker would lie right to my face every time. I'd say, you know, you're gonna take us away. No. And they'd come back an hour later with the cops and pull us out of the house and threaten to, you know, they try to split us up always, me and my sister. And I used to have to threaten them, I'll run.
In a worse situation.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, and the crazy thing is, like, back then, like at that time, right, in South Boston, obviously it was known as a racist neighborhood, right? Back then there was a lot, you know, the busing and all that stuff. And
well, that's how we grew up.
We were in all black foster homes.
We grew up misinformed.
Right.
You know, by the misinformed.
Yeah, 100%. And you get, but so now you get these little, you know, young kids. This is all I've been taught. You know what I mean? I've never really been around black people because there were really no black people that lived there. I had one black friend that moved to the projects. One Haitian kid was my boy, and a kid that I went to school with.
In Charlestown had one black family, and everybody, you know, liked them, treated them well. Right. But they still called them with the N-word in front of their name.
Right. You know, exactly. And it would blow my mind. But so at that age, I don't know any better. So I'm obviously I'm like, what is going on? They're putting us, never, ever, ever would me and my sister until the very last foster home put in a white foster home.
Yeah.
Always with blacks or Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why. And obviously I was jumped constantly in them homes. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be coming to visit my grandmother in the DSS office with black eyes, and because I'm protecting my sister, you know, and in them foster homes, like, there was some sick foster parents too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I went through some things that, you know, I never even said out loud till like probably
and that's the scary
2-3
thing
years ago
about the foster system is taking those chances. I just have to edit it all together.
Yeah.
Taking those chances every time you put children with a new foster parent, that's just doing it for the money.
Right.
Is taking the chances that you're going to get put with an abusive parent,
Yeah.
but abusive in every way possible.
Right.
You know, not just emotionally and physically.
Oh yeah.
But some weirdos that
There's sick people out
sexually
there.
abusing
Yes.
kids. So many kids have been sexually abused in foster care, that especially back then.
Back then it was rampant.
Now they try to pay attention, but
Right.
they definitely didn't.
No, back then,
I know so many kids that has happened to.
Department of Social Services back then was like just
it was DSS.
horrible. Like all the foster parents they were just doing for the check. Like every house I was in, they had like 10 foster kids, 15 foster kids. I'm like, this is crazy. You know what I mean? But but anyway, so I lived I'm living with my mother now and her husband, and my 2 sisters and my brother. And I have another brother he didn't grow up with us. He grew up with his dad's family. They took him when he was a kid. We actually just reconnected with him some years ago.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. He lives out in New Hampshire. But yeah, we were living there, and like, it was just, like I said, it was up and down. There were them fun moments, some good times, and then there was a lot of bad moments. Like her husband didn't like me, you know what I mean, because I reminded him of my father, and my father was her first love, and he knew this.
Take it out on the kids.
Right. So, like, there would be time. It's funny because he never actually laid a hand on me. He tried several times, and I would slip it. You know what I mean? Slip it, and he'd hit the wall or something. And then my mother would come running out and like, well, what's going on? You know what I mean? I'd be like, nothing, Ma. It's all set. And I just walk away until I was old enough. Like I said, when I was 50, I remember I was a freshman in high school, in Southie High, and I come home with my report card. This was like what set it off, what tipped everything. I was like, I'm out. I came home with my report card. Then I hid it from my mother for like a week. Right, it was straight F's. And one day she just happened to ask me, like, hey, where's your report card? I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't give that to you. She's like, no, you didn't. Go get that. And I'm like, all right. So I go get it. I bring it down. I give it to her. So she's looking at it, like she screams at me and stuff, right? But she's sitting there looking at it. And then he walks in from work, and he's like, and now she had already handed it back to me. So the report card's in my hand, and he's like, what's this? And he ripped it out of my hand. And like something just snapped, and I was like, well, I snatched it from him. I was like, don't ever rip something from my hand again. And then he was like, oh, you're tough now. And I snatched him by his throat and ran him across the parlor and slammed him on the couch and held him there. You know what I mean? I told him, like, I'm not a little kid no more. And that was it. And then he was, he told my mother, like, it's either him or me. And I was like, Ma, you don't gotta choose. Like, I'm out. You know what I mean? And
That's crazy.
And then my mother ended up tried to stop me. It was funny, like she came out the back and like she's flipping out, trying to stop me from leaving. Like, she got me by my pocket of my hoodie, and like I said, I'd never disrespect my mother or hit her or anything. And I'm just like, Ma, please just let me go. Like I'm leaving. And
I mean,
she wouldn't let go. So finally, I just ripped my friggin' pocket right off the hoodie. And I was like, all right. I spun around, took off.
When someone you love is stuck in an abusive relationship like that, it sucks. I watch my sisters do it.
Yeah.
And just go back, and you just knew they were. They would say they're not, and things would get worse and worse each time. And when you really love somebody, and it's just shitty situation for those that can identify with that, and some that can't because they can't understand that line of thinking.
Right.
I completely understand.
It's
I
sick,
firsthand
really. It's a
have
sickness.
witnessed it and have loved people that have been in abusive relationships like such, and,
Right.
and I understand why he didn't make her choose, because it probably would have been, a sad, a lot worse.
Right.
If,
Absolutely. And it's a sickness, really. Like these women, like these guys, they manipulate these women and they get in their head and they make them think that they can't do anything on their own, that they need them in their life.
And also,
you know what I mean?
beat the shit out of their self-esteem.
Right. That's what it is. They just
You
crush
can't
their
get
self-esteem, and
anybody
then
else
it's,
but
yeah,
me, and-
if without me you're nothing, and it's so far from the truth. But like I watch my sisters go through it too,
Mhm.
even after they see my mother go through it. Like they,
Right. And
they
it's
go
a
through
learned
it.
behavior.
And the
It's a learned
crazy thing is, like,
behavior.
my sisters, like, especially my youngest sister, like, for her to even allow a man to abuse her or tell her what to do or anything like that, like, it just blew my mind when I found out that this was happening,
Yeah.
because she's such a strong girl.
Right.
Like, this girl, like, not that it's a good thing, but, like, when she was out in the street getting high, like, this girl was running neighborhoods in, like, Dorchester and stuff. This little white girl, you know what I mean? Like, she's a Diane. Yeah, she's a strong girl, man, tough girl, but it happens. But yeah, just watching that, like, and then I took off. So and it's funny. I'm like, I'm running, I'm out of here. I'm like, I'm leaving, I'm going, and I moved literally 15 feet away. Like, I went right next door to my aunt's house. My aunt Elena, God rest her soul. And then that was probably the worst thing I could have did, because there was just no rules.
Yeah.
I could do whatever I want over there. My uncle and his wife lived there, and they were like her caretakers, right? And my cousin Perry lived there. We grew up like brothers. So, like, over there, I just did whatever I wanted. You know what I mean? I could drink.
Sorry.
Yes, he is. He's locked up as of right now.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
No worries.
I would have forgot.
Yeah.
Period.
No, yeah, he's locked up right now. I helped him get to the Gavin, and then he blew that. And, he's back. Now he don't call me anymore because he don't like to hear the truth.
Yeah.
So, that's how
He
that
could be
goes.
difficult.
Yeah.
He could be a difficult person.
Yeah. Well,
So you moved to your aunt's.
but so I move over there. I'm in my aunt's now. There's no rules, right? I can do whatever I want.
And you're living with him.
And right. So I'm able to, I can drink, you know what I mean? So on the weekend, Fridays and Saturday nights, everyone, like, my back court was the hangout spot, right? Because the teen center was in the building at the other end of my court, right? So that was just the hangout spot. Everyone hung out there. So every Friday and Saturday night, everyone's out there drinking, hanging out. Like, I can go in the house and drink. Like, I can bring girls in whenever I want. Like, no one cared. You know what I mean?
That's
I
how
do
my
whatever I
sisters
wanted.
was.
So-
I left my house just like you and went to live with my sister. Had the same, no rules.
Right.
Same time, 15. Had the same, basically like the same life.
And at the time, all I did, like, I started smoking weed, and, like, I drank here and there. I was never really a big drinker. Like, I never abused alcohol, to be honest. I drank on the weekends with my friends or something, or if I went to a club, but, like, I just never abused alcohol. I abused everything else. I like drugs. You know what I mean?
Drank,
So
have fun.
I just drank to have fun.
Me too.
Right. Like, because
There
when I
had
was
to be
getting high,
girls.
and going through
There
it.
had to be girls around. It had to be in a social situation.
Yeah, exactly.
I never
So-
drank alone.
Yeah, I wasn't, like, just on the corner drinking on a Tuesday night, like, hanging out with the fellas. You know what I mean?
Right.
But so I started. So I'm dabbling in the pills. It's like all my family, like my aunts and my mother, like, they all been hustling doctors their whole lives. I had my mother come in the doctor's room with me until I was like 21 years old and talk to me, because she can get anything she wanted from them, right? And so I started dibbling dabbling with the pills and stuff. But then one night,
All right, we had a little camera issue. Ran out of room, so we're back. We're back at the spot where Billy was talking about living in D Street, just dibbling and dabbling in the progression of his disease. And we're gonna shoot it back to Billy.
So yeah, real quick, I just said, like, I purposely skipped around kind of, and you know what I mean, just because I'm also writing my own book.
Oh, I
So I don't want to like.
Soupy's writing a book too.
Is he?
He just sent me his
No
first couple
kidding.
chapters.
Yeah. I got a chunk of it done. You know what I mean, my girl's helping me out a lot with it. So, but yeah. So I'm I'm living there. There's no rules. I'm doing whatever I want, bringing girls in and out. And then I'm 16 years old, and my uncle, who I looked up to my whole life. He was like my role model, right? Ever since I was a kid, like he always had money, the cars, the girls. He was bouncing at clubs, and he's hanging out with all the right people.
That was our role models.
Right, you know what I mean? So that was cool to me, right? I'm like, oh,
I want that.
And my other uncle that lived with me, like, he ended up going to college and stuff. Like he skirted out of that life. He did some things and got in trouble, but he skirted out of there. So he really wasn't there for me like he should have been either, because he was busy doing his own thing or whatever, trying to get out of there. But so my uncle that I'm living with, he calls me in the room, and he's like, I need you to try this for me. And he's got Coke on a plate, and I got my best friend with me, God rest his soul. He's like my little brother, Tommy Mullen. And we're in the room. I wouldn't, and I remember that night I wouldn't let Tommy do it. He was pissed.
He hung himself.
Yeah. So, my uncle said, like, I didn't even know how to do it. Like, I never even thought to do it. I didn't have no thoughts of Coke at all. And he's like, so he had to show me how to do it. And so I do it, and he wanted me to try it to tell him if it was good, because he was too high to tell.
Mm-hmm.
How do I know if it's good? You know what I mean? I'm like, all right. So I do it, and then, my heart starts racing, and I'm like sweating, and I'm like, he's like, is it good? And I'm like, I don't know, dude. I'm like, I know I want to go out and I want to run around. I'm like, that's it, And then he had the nerve to tell me, I don't ever want to hear you do this again. I go, oh, all right.
You just got me started.
Yeah, so I'm flying around all night off that one line, and I'm like, try this again. And then a couple hours later, I start crashing. I feel like I'm crashing and stuff coming down. So he goes out that night drinking, and a friend of his, he's dead now, is doing Eddie Lampron. We used to call him Stuttering Ed, right? He had a horrible stutter, and he was a good dude, man, but he was so gullible. He stayed at the house that night, and my uncle goes to the liquor store for me and Tommy, and Perry, and then he goes out. So I know where it's Coke's hidden, right? So I know where everything is.
I knew where the story was.
So like literally, I would sell weed and then give him money from the weed so that he could re-up, because he'd fuck up his shit. You know what I mean? So like I knew where it was. So I tell his boy, I'm like, what's up, Ed? You want to get high tonight? And he's like, what? He's like, your Uncle John will kill me. I'm like, what are you talking? I'm like, bro, it's half mine. I'm like, I do it with him all the time. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right.
All right.
We end up doing everything that he had in there in the room all night long. So I just get to sleep at 8 in the morning, and my mother comes in and wakes me up to go to the store for her. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I get up, I go to the store for whatever. Then that night goes by, and that night I stayed at my mother's, and he he had a party at the house, John, and I guess, obviously he found his coke missing and stuff, so he had a little talk with Ed in the room, and so, let him know never to do anything with me again, scared the shit out of him. So I don't know anything. So a fight happens that night, I guess, someone ends up getting stabbed and shit. My uncle comes over, wakes me up at like 6 in the morning, like, hey, I need you to climb up on the roof and get rid of this for a little while. I'm like, all right, and I do, and then you got to come to court with me. So we go, I go check, they're looking for me, right? I got to turn myself in. I go, all right. So we're walking up Broadway, and he looks at me and he goes, if I ever find out you get high with one of my friends again, I'll fucking kill you. I'm like, all right. And then that very night, him and I sat in the room, and Tommy, and did an 8-ball of coke. And then for 6 months, John, 6 months, every night straight, 8-ball or more of coke. And now he's got, like, I'm going out and I'm grabbing chicks, bringing them back. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, chicks coming out of the bar room and stuff, get them, you know what I mean? Hey, you want to, I got some coke at the house, and I'm bringing them back for him and stuff, like, and then he's like, so then he's bringing older women in, so I'm like, now fast forward a little bit. Fast forward a little bit, I'm like 17, right? 16. And he's got these older chicks coming in, right? He comes home from being out, he brings girls home. He has a chick wake me up. It's my younger brother, he's 19. So this lady wakes me up. She's like 30 years old. Wakes me up. Hey, your brother says come hang out and drink with us and blah blah. So I'm out there drinking and doing coke with him, and I'm sleeping with these chicks. I'm banging these chicks, but like at that time, it's cool, right? I'm thinking it's cool. You know what I mean? I'm 16. I'm banging this older chick. I'm like, this is great. But in reality, now that I've done so much work on myself, and I think about it, in reality, like I was being molested. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was a child. I was 16 years old. You know what I mean? And
That's what I said. Older chicks, when they get on coke, they get fucking lit.
right,
Yeah.
right. And they're teaching you, so they're shaping me. You know what I mean? And it's like it's unhealthy. You know what I mean? And then and that's probably why I was never faithful to any girl ever in my life.
It
You know
took
what I
me
mean?
a long time
Till
to
just
get over.
till
cheating.
just now.
It was an addiction upon itself
Yes.
that I just broke.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
It took a
It
long,
should be. It's a tough addiction
took
to
a
break.
long
People don't
fucking time.
realize.
And I did it on her, because we've been on and off
Right.
20 years.
Yeah.
And she still brings it up and shit, but I haven't done it in over 5 years.
Right.
And it was hard.
Yeah.
It was so easy to cheat. Something I always gave into. Couldn't
Right.
help it. Because it's like an ego.
Yeah.
boost.
Well, and that's the crazy thing. It was never about the girl either. Like no matter who I was with, it wasn't about her. Why I was cheating. It wasn't because of her
There were
or
no
nothing.
feelings.
It was
There really
just
wasn't
because
feelings.
it was something different, and I wanted to see if I could pick this girl up.
Right.
I wa-
Voice. Okay.
And then as long as you carry yourself, like a man, and be respectful and make sure you get respected, and you're good. You know what I mean? It's really that simple.
And then you
But-
just get comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that's it. And then that becomes normal.
Maybe too comfortable.
And then it's weird out here sometimes. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
So it's like, but yeah, so that's what heroin started from, and that was it. That was the downfall. The first time I did dope, it was my 19th birthday, and my boy was throwing me a keg party in D Street. His mother was away, so he threw me a party, and I'm drinking and having a good time. I go upstairs to his room, and he's in there. I walk in, and there's a pile on the CD. Immediately, I'm like, that's not coke. I'm like, that's weird. And he's like, oh, it's dope. And I was like, let me get a line. I had no idea what it was going to do to me, like the sickness, the being hooked on it. Like, I had no knowledge of it. So he's like, no, I'm not going to be the first one to give it to you. Like, I'm not doing that. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so we're arguing about it. And then finally, he's like, you know what? He's like, dude, I got to go to the bathroom. Whatever you do, you do. And he left and went to the bathroom, came back, and I was laying on his bed, happy as could be. And he was like, oh, man. And then I did it for like 3-4 days straight. And then I'm home, and I wake up, and I'm sick. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the? So he calls me, and he's like, you want to come over, like, smoke some weed? I'm like, nah. I'm like, bro, I'm sick. And he goes, nah, I'll never forget it. It was a lady. He goes, no, you're not sick. You got the Puerto Rico flu, and I got the only cure in town. I go, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So I'm like, what do you mean, dude? He's like, just come over. I go over. He goes, here, do that. Gives me a line. I do a line. Boom, I'm good. And it was over from there, And then I quickly escalated. At first, like I was doing, cashing checks. You know what I mean? Like robbing dealers, whatever I had to do, right? To get by, and then I quickly escalated to the bank robbery, and because it was a friend of mine. Actually, you and I were just talking about him. He first time I ever went, I went with him. He went in. I was just with him, and I was outside. But I seen how he did everything, watched it, and then I decided I was gonna do it on my own too, and it was easy. I went in, and it
just hopped into it.
It just felt like it was crazy, John. The first time I ever went in. Some people like I can't. I'm not a booster. I can't go boost. I can't go. I don't rob houses. That stuff. I get nervous. I don't like that. It's creepy.
I'm not gonna speak ill of people. People do it.
Right.
I don't like the idea of going in somebody's house.
Same. Likewise.
And taking their hard-earned
100%.
shit.
100%.
And crawling around someone's house. It's just bad mojo.
Right.
It's bad. It's
no. And I'm
to people that do whatever. I'm not gonna say nothing negative about you. That's your thing.
Yeah, to each his own. If you can live with it, you can live with it.
It's just not something that Somebody once, I'll tell a quick story. It's never something I've ever done. I've never done a B&E in my life. My cousin pulled up to me once. I was with Lorraine, and we were strung out, fucking bad. And he was like, fucking, this one's looking for you. It was a guy, well-known guy in Charlestown. Just a well-known guy, not like a gangster or not. Just somebody that everyone knows.
Right.
He thinks you're B&E at his mother's house. Someone said that you're B&E at his mother's house, and I'm like, what? Like, where would that even come from? And it's right next to my aunt's house, so it was on a towny street.
Right.
If I was ever to do anything in this town, it would always be this section of this town that we do dirt in, and we always have since we were kids. It's down here by the monument,
Right.
behind the liquor store near Store 24.
Yep.
That's always been yuppie territory, and it's always fucked me up. And whenever I see the guy, I've talked to him and said, hey, you know, I didn't do that, and I get the sense that he never fucking believed me.
Right.
And I just seen him the other day, and this was fucking 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's just something that's always bothered me, because I just hate the idea that somebody would think I would do that, especially to a fucking towny house.
Right.
I've almost got pinched and done time for, somebody showed me a picture one day of a kid I did time with, Bill Rick. I said, you know this kid? I said, yeah, I know him. And he was doing B&Es down Michigan. And I'm like, and I gave the kid a beat,
Yeah.
a bad beat, and he ran from me, and my knife come out.
Right.
And I said, if you keep running, I'm gonna stick you. And I ended up sticking him, and I ended up getting arrested for it.
Yeah.
Nobody went to the grand jury and shit, so I didn't end up getting time for it or anything.
Right.
But that was just as angry as I got. He had robbed not only just people in Charlestown, a couple townies.
Right.
And
Right.
their kids.
Yeah.
So that's just how I feel about B&Es.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
No, I get it. I feel the same way. I respect it. I've always been a firm believer of, like, people that if they're not in the
If they're
street,
not in the
they're not
game,
doing
yeah.
that. Like, they're not, you know, like,
They're
I've
not
never
fair
been
game.
one, like, no matter, even at my lowest, like, I've never snatched a purse. I've never hurt an old person. I've never, like, I just don't, there's some things that I just wouldn't do. You know what I mean? My grandmother instilled good values and morals in me that I've never forgotten. You know what I mean? No matter how messed up I was, I keep those with me close. You know? And,
I mean, it's important. You gotta live with yourself.
yeah, you gotta look
At the
yourself.
end of the
Like,
day.
I don't care what anyone else thinks about me, honestly. I could care less what anybody thinks about me. I care what I look at in that mirror. When I look at myself in that mirror, I need to respect myself. You know what I mean? And it's that simple. You know? And some people can live with some things, you know, but I'm just not one of them. I can't live with certain things. But yeah, so I do, you know, the bank robberies and, you know, all that stuff and that whole thing, and then escalated to, you know, going in and out of prison. I did like 5 bids in South Bay, 2 state bids.
I remember when
feds.
I ran into you in Concord
Yep.
at one point, and I think that was right before the feds grabbed you up.
Yes. Yep. That's exactly when it was.
And then, what you get, 12?
10. He gave me 10.
Under 20?
Yep.
Under 20 months.
Yep. I lucked out, man. Honestly, like all the stars lined up for me. Like, my lawyer was great. You know, she was young and, like, new, so she was trying to prove herself. So she, like, dug into everything in my history. Like, she found about, like, you know, when all the suicides were happening in Southie in '97.
Yeah.
Like, I was doing a lot of community activism at that time, you know, and like organizing marches to City Hall to bring awareness and giving speeches and doing these talk shows. And so she dug all that stuff up, you know, and which helped, you know what I mean, character-wise, right? And I lucked out. I had Judge Joe Toro. God rest his soul. He passed
like
away.
Carol Ball of the
Yeah, my lawyer was so optimistic. You know, she was like, listen, I'm gonna ask for 6 years and you're gonna get 6 years. Like, Judge Toro just doesn't like giving time like that. He believes in redemption and all that, you know what I mean? And he was like 1,000 years old. Like, it took him forever to get on the bench. Like, I caught him just in time. But the DA asked for 20 years, and my lawyer asked for 6, and the judge almost immediately just said 10. You know what I mean? Like he just met in the middle,
Yeah.
gave me the 10, which
But
the
that's
funny
not
thing
even
is
in the
I
middle.
said
That's a lot closer to 6.
it is closer to 6
20.
than it is to the 20. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I and it's funny because I said to my lawyer at the arraignment, I said, "Look, I'll take 10 right now."
Right.
And she's like, "Listen,
I mean,
it's not
once you
state
know,
court. You got to let me
right,
do my job
right.
first."
Once you know what kind of situation you're in, and your mind starts going through, because I've been in this
It makes it so much easier.
same
Once
situations.
you understand it. It's the not
Yes,
knowing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then you know when you get yourself ready mentally.
You get accustomed. Yeah,
right.
You do what you got to
This-
do.
this
You know,
is-
all right, now I'm
this
in
is
bid
the worst
mode.
case scenario, and this is when I'm getting out.
Right.
So when it happens, and you know when you're getting out, because I mean, there's been situations where I fucking didn't know if I was ever getting out.
Oh yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
My co-defendant, before he recanted at the grand jury, you know, it was a federal grand jury, so naturally the feds were trying to indict.
Right.
And I would just be getting out now with that case if he had gone through.
Yeah.
Thank God that didn't happen. And I had that other case I just told you, the stabbing
Yeah.
case. If that had gone through,
Right.
I got lucky. I kept coming into Concord and beating these cases,
Yeah.
and then got out and caught a mayhem like a week later,
Right.
and then fucking beat that, and caught a case while I was in Concord. I caught a
I remember. Yeah.
I caught a conspiracy case while I was in Concord and beat that. I just was getting lucky. You know. We got enough for that. Just let's get into the so you got out.
So
You wrapped that up.
I went out.
Well, you didn't wrap that up. You got out on some supervised release.
Yeah, I did the 10-year Fed bid. That was my last sentence. I did 10 years. I got out. 3-year supervised release. Had an amazing probation officer. You know, I met her at the federal halfway house in the Coolidge
Coolidge
house.
House.
Because I had come home. Honestly, so to be truthfully
That's where
honest,
he
right?
died. He died in there.
Yeah.
Brady did.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
kidding.
Yeah. He died
So-
in Coolidge.
To be truthfully honest, when I first came home, I had to go to Rhode Island. I was still married at the time, right?
Mhm.
I'm now divorced and engaged to an amazing woman. And got
like
away
it.
from
Seems
the
like it.
horrible show I was in.
Yeah.
But I had to go to Rhode Island to her, right? When I got out,
Mhm.
in order to get out to go to the halfway house. It was the only address I had, right? My mother died in 2014 while I was in the feds. Like I had,
Sorry to hear that.
you know,
I didn't know that.
my sisters were in active addiction. Like I didn't have no
Mhm.
family around, nowhere to go. So I came home pretty much by myself. And so I went to her in Rhode Island. You know, I knew it was going to be chaotic. It was, which it was. I was on the bracelet for the first 3 months there, so I was stuck there and had to deal with her craziness.
You've been doing good since you got out?
No, so so I fucked up for 3 days. I left. I was in Rhode Island. The last straw was she snapped about some nonsense. I flipped out about something silly. And I was just like, I couldn't take it anymore. The bracelet was off. I was like, I'm out. You know what I mean? And I started packing my stuff. And she's like whipping my clothes out and screaming, you know, to get out, but throwing my. I'm like, she's hitting me. Luckily, her daughter videoed it, and did the right thing. Just the cops showed up. I'm thinking like, I'm going to prison. Yes, this was the nut. Yeah. So I'm thinking, you know, I'm going back to prison. Like this is crazy for nothing. So these cops show up. The cop was super decent, man. I said, listen, buddy, this is the deal. I was honest, told him who I was, federal probation, all that. Please don't run my name because it's going to go to my probation officer.
Yeah.
And I didn't do anything.
It'll
I'm just
come
trying to leave.
Mhm.
And the daughter did the right thing. She came over and showed him the video. Like he didn't do anything. So he was cool. He didn't. He said, I got you. Like you let me just pack my stuff and let me leave. And I made the mistake. I was just so like enraged, right, with the whole situation. So my anger's at an all-time high now, and I have nowhere to go. I'm in Rhode Island. I don't know anyone. I have nowhere to go. I don't even have anyone in Boston to call and say, come get me right now. So I'm like, what am I gonna do, man? So I was like, you know what? I don't even care. I was like, I'm going and I'm getting drunk, and I'll figure it out. And I go to a park. I went and got something. I went to a park. I ended up getting drunk. And that was the biggest mistake I ever made, was getting drunk, like out of anger, right? Because then I called my sister to come get me in Connecticut, and not Diane, my other sister, and come get me. As soon as she picked me up, what do you have in the car? crack. I don't even smoke crack. Give it to me.
Smoke it.
You know? No, I'm give it to me or I'm taking it. She gave it to me. I smoked crack the whole ride to Connecticut. I ended up doing I never did fentanyl in my life. It was heroin when I got high. Never did fentanyl. So I ended up doing a half a bag of fentanyl the next day up in Connecticut. Died immediately.
Right.
Take me to the hospital, like everything, ambulance, hospital. My sister gives a fake name. They let me out of the hospital. I'm still high. You know, then I go start staying with my other sister, but now I'm smoking crack. I'm shooting crystal meth. For 3 days I did this. My probation officer called me. My ex-wife told on me. You know, so my PO's like, are you in Connecticut? No, I'm not. Yes, you are. Angela told me. Oh, sorry about that. Like, why'd you ask? I'm like, she goes, all right, well, you need to get back and give me a urine. And I said, I'll tell you right now, you don't need a urine. I'm high as a kite. I said, and I'm not running. I said, I just can't get back, honestly. The car that brought me up there had broke down.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what the car, so I couldn't get, I'm like, I'm trying to get back. I got no money. Like, I'm stuck out here in Connecticut. And then after 3 days of that, she kept calling me every day. I'm answering her calls. And then finally, she was so cool, man. She was like, listen, if you get back here by tomorrow, if you're here tomorrow morning when my associate shows up at her house, he's going to bring a piece of paper. You're going to sign it. I'm not even going to violate you. I'm just sending you back to Boston where you belong. Okay, boom. Got some money, paid some dude, take me back to Rhode Island. I went back, went to Boston.
You took that as a sign?
And that was it. Once I left there, that was Halloween. That was Halloween 2021 or 2. Something like that.
How'd you get into what you're doing now?
So, I come home, boom, but now I go home. So if I go to the halfway house, 30 days there. I'm sorry, boy. I go there, I'm 30 days in the halfway house in Boston. I leave there, go to a sober house. In Dorchester, I'm in a sober house. I had a slip while I was there real quick. One night, me and a buddy of mine that was there decided it was a good night. Well, we go get high, no one will know. We went out, got high. Ended up the guy seen us down Mass Ave. We get home after in Dorchester, and the house manager's like, I got a urine you. What's his name? Seen you down Mass Ave. So I said, I was honest with him. I said, listen, boy, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I messed up. I got high, right? I said, but I'm gonna also tell you, if you kick me out, I'm gonna go back to prison, or they're gonna violate me. I said, and I'm not going back to prison, like, ever, one way or the other. They'll have to kill me. I'm not going back. I had made that decision before I came home. I'm never going back. Like, I just can't do it anymore. And he gave me, man, he talks to the dude, and he's like, I believe him. I said, if you give me this chance, it'll never happen again. You're saving my life. And he gave me that chance, and it didn't happen again. And that guy saved my fucking life.
Have you
giving me that chance.
Again
So I've talked to him after a couple of times, but it's funny because I said this recently that I got to reach out to him because I want to take him out and sit down with him and actually explain to him how much I appreciate what he did, because he literally saved my life.
That's just bullshit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right. And it was. It was just. It was a quick slip.
But to see when but not the slip, but the actual sincerity.
Oh, right.
In your words. Do you know what I mean?
No, absolutely. They hear it all the time, and yep. So he just, something in my voice and in my eyes or something just clicked, and he was like, man, I believe him. And and then he gave me that shot, and I made it. So then I end up getting into the recovery field, man. I'd state probation for an old case they just would not let go the whole time I was in the feds, and made me take probation. You know what I mean? So I file a motion to cancel that probation. I went in and argued it myself. My lawyer filed the motion, then recused himself. I argued against my PO and the DA. The judge went in my favor. Canceled out my probation. So now, Mr. Coleman, go get your late act license and say, because I told him I'm trying to get in the recovery field and I can't do it. It's a hindrance with the open warrant.
How did you?
Because it shows an open case, they won't let you in the recovery field.
Who paid for the late act?
No, I didn't get it. I was just saying, he was just like being, you know what I mean? Like, now go get your late act license.
I thought you got the late act.
No, I haven't got my late act. No.
Because I want to get it.
It's something that I've thought about too. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, it's tough. But I ended up being a case man, RSS first for 3 months at a program.
You must have did the thing.
Recovery coach.
Yeah, the academy.
Yep. I did that. I didn't do that until after, though. I did, because I was, like I said, I was an RSS, just basically a babysitter. You know what I mean? And then I did that for 3 months, and then they promoted me to case manager. And I literally taught myself how to be a case manager at the program, like, because the head case manager got pulled all the time.
Right, how to use a computer.
And I had never been a case manager. Yeah, I'm computer illiterate, so I'm teaching myself their programs and how to do it, but I figured it out quick. I'm a quick learner. And I figured it out quick, and like, because I care so much about the people I'm working with, because I am them. That's like I tell them, like, I'm you. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So
I mean, think about when you've been in treatment. I've been in treatment. The only people you ever related to was the people that
were in it, that have done
like
it.
guys that got out and did a lot of time.
Right.
And
guys
really
that lived that life.
You know what I mean?
And you could tell when they cared.
You were like, yeah, this dude's cool. Like,
right.
And those are the people that I always related to.
Absolutely.
And
well, they're the people you know cared, John, because you could tell.
Right.
That's what I tell people all the time. Like, listen, convicts and drug addicts and like, they're super intelligent people in reality. Like, there's so much intelligence in jail, and like prison ingenuity amazes me.
Jesus,
right? Yeah. So it's like, you know, you just, I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought. What were you saying?
Prison ingenuity.
Oh, the prison ingenuity. So, like, I tell people all the time, they can sniff it out. Like, they know if you're telling them the truth or not. They know if you're bullshitting, if you live this life or not. So just be honest, you know. But like, so I did that. I did the case management thing for like a year. You know, I liked it. It was fun. It was cool. It was a good experience. And like I said, I loved working with the people. I would constantly get in trouble, like fighting with the higher ups, because like mass health people, right? For instance, I hated the way they would talk about it, like mass health people are less than, right? And at the time, I'm on mass health. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and it would be like, oh, we got to get these mass health guys out of here in 14 days, but we want to keep these Blue Cross Blue Shield guys for 30 days, 60 days. Because it's money, right?
You know, that's all about money.
So but I would fight against that, and I would like, nah, like I have a bed for this guy with Blue Cross. I don't have a bed for this guy with Mass Health. I can't send him to the street, and I would keep guys literally.
These are life and death decisions.
Yeah, you know? I would keep guys in that program literally. I had a guy in there for 62 days on Mass Health. Every single meeting, every week, they were like, what are you doing with this guy? And I'm like, I'm trying to find him a place. He was just a hard placement. You know, he needed like dual diagnosis. Like, it was just a hard placement. But I kept him, and then he got a place.
Have suicide and stuff in their history, and places don't want to take them.
And at the end of the day, like, I just didn't want it on my conscience. I'm not sending someone out there to die. They wanted me to send, for instance, a kid who was an alcoholic. They want me to send him to a wet shelter for one night while he waits for a bed, instead of just keeping him in the program because he's got mass health.
And then your choice is to go down to the paths, which is I've done, and I've actually done it every day for a week.
Right.
And got into the Hope House.
Right.
Because I was willing.
And you were consistent and on it.
Yes, and if you if you just have even the slightest bit of like weakness that day, you're gonna use.
Yeah.
It's just not a good place.
Right.
It's a good system, paths, but good program.
Right.
It's in the wrong place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I completely get it.
I went down there many times and got high because.
Right.
I mean, everything's right there.
It's the area it's in too, right? And it's like, so I did that for a year, and then I had to leave there. You know, I left there. I just had enough. Oh, wow. Fireworks.
Shooting off cannons.
But yeah, so I left there, and I went to the Gavin Foundation.
Okay.
And I became a recovery coach for them. You know, that's where I ended up doing the academy. I had done the first half of the recovery coach thing a while back, and then I finished. I actually have 2 more classes that I have to do so that I can take the test, because I want to be certified before the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Because
she's got to get recertified.
Next year we're going to be licensed.
Yeah.
The law went through that after the first, it's no more certified, it's licensed. And as a licensed recovery coach, you can now charge insurances just like a nurse or a doctor.
Mm-hmm. You should be able to anyway.
Yeah. Right.
You know, and get paid.
Yeah.
To personally, you know, because she like has to take care of certain clients. Like, she's more than just a recovery coach. She's like basically their fucking.
Well, you're their therapist. You're their friend. You're their like it's you know
crazy,
it gets like that.
She's their housing worker. She's the
right.
Like the therapist.
Yeah.
Recovery coach.
And it gets hard, it gets tough like that. It burns you out. I got burnt out fast. You know what I mean? I did. I got burnt out fast because I take a lot of things personal. Like I go above and beyond to help people. Like, you know what I mean? Like to where it's hurts me financially and hurts me. You know what I mean? Like, and I can't do that.
Help too much.
But and it's just, it's tough. It took me a long time to figure that out. I had to take a break from the recovery field for like a year. I didn't really never leave it. I still helped people on the side, but I started working for like a pickup fitness gym, working with kids on a basketball league and stuff like that. And I did that for a year, and then just recently came back. Now I'm contracted, which is amazing. Like to me, like just where I'm at in my life right now is like.
That's why I wanted you to come on.
They contracted me to run groups at Dedham House of Correction. They pay me to go in there every Monday. Pay me to go in and out.
Imagine to ever think that you'd be on the other side. You'd look at the people on the other side so many times and be like, I'm always going to be on this side.
It's so surreal. Like
and people.
I'll tell you, my first time in there, my anxiety went through the roof. Though, hearing that door clang, and I had to like tell myself, like, listen, you're walking back out. Like, you're all right. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, just like. I walk in there, they hand me my little lanyard thing, and it's got a badge with my picture next to it, and I'm like, are you shit? Like, this is crazy, you know what I mean? And they let me use their facility, the Hope Center. They also let me use their facility in Braintree on Tuesday nights. I run my own personal group that I do on my own for guys like us. It's not like an NA group or a AA group, but it's more of a support group, right? Guys like us that come, if you had a bad week, you can vent about it around guys who know what you're going through, right? There's guys that have been out for years that have started figuring things out, that just want to help out, give back, and some guys that are just coming home trying to figure it out. We have Zoom and all that too.
Everybody has some type of issue.
Yes.
It needs some type of outlet. Sometimes I'll use this as an outlet.
Yeah.
And I got people like trolls. They're just crazy, dude.
Yeah.
They just can't. They're worried about every single thing I do.
Well, do you know what it is, John? That's people. To me, John, I see it like this.
They really
people,
honestly have issues, obviously.
Those people that do that, right? They're people that are too afraid to try to do something like this. Too afraid to get out there and try something, right? And they'd rather sit behind their computer and trash someone else.
Like, I don't claim to be perfect. I have fucking. There's many faults
humans,
I have.
Yeah.
I'm only human.
Absolutely.
And I come here and I use these things as outlets to try to say I'm not perfect and have other people identify with these things and maybe say, wow, you know what? I feel that way too. I thought I was alone. You know what I mean?
Right.
But also I do this. And last week a kid came on and this is the whole mission with this whole thing. Went on Facebook and said, I left the program in Florida, and I was just going to keep fucking getting high, and I watched your podcast, and I decided to call for help.
That's awesome.
And
that's awesome.
That's it. That's the mission right there.
That's it,
I wish I could help 100 people, but if I help one person,
that's it. Yeah.
That's all I fucking do this for.
Right.
Is to help people.
100%.
I wish I can help people in other ways. If I didn't have to babysit, I would. When my son starts going to school, I'll somehow try to get in the field and help in other ways. But this is all I can do now.
But just doing this is how
really
you're giving people a platform to come and talk and tell their stories.
You know what I mean? Seriously, like I'm not Superman or superhuman or fucking Avenger.
Right.
Like give me a fucking break.
Right.
Seriously.
That's why I try not to, like, for me, I try not to, like, I don't care, like, I genuinely don't care what people think of me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm at a place in my life now, and it took a lot for me to figure this out.
But it's just the stalking me shit. Like,
right. No, I get it.
I'm sorry.
Like, so I'm at, like, even right now, and it's funny, like, like, life happens, right? We go through stuff. Like, right now, on the outside looking in, people see me and they're like, oh, like, Billy's doing great. Like, he's had no worries. He's got nothing. He's got, like, but no, Billy does not have it all figured out. Like, I'm drowning financially, and it's like killing me. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm at a point right now in my life. Like, I have everything that I've always wanted. Right? As a kid growing up, like, all I ever wanted was a normal family. Right? Just that normal family life.
No dysfunction.
Like.
That's what we do. That's our whole thing, because we grew up dysfunctional.
Right.
The same thing we said about, you know how your sisters
Right.
my sisters
Yeah.
will get attracted to guys that are abusive.
Mhm.
Like we try to teach my daughter that that's how she grew up. That's how everybody,
Right.
our mothers grew up getting beat by their husbands, um, and teach her that that's not normal.
That's not right. That's not
And
normal.
you,
Right.
you need to find a man when you're old enough that treats you right.
That respects you 100%.
To not be a dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
To be a family that goes out and does things.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
a nuclear family.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
For 10 years, the whole 10 years I was in the feds, that's all I thought about when I go home. Like, I just want to settle down. I just want to be with a nice girl, settle down, like have a family and just enjoy life. And like, I fell into that by running back into an old girlfriend, right? My fiance now.
I was wondering that. I wanted to ask, how'd you meet her?
So we dated when, it's crazy because we dated when we were kids from like 13 to like 15-ish, something like that. You know, and then like hooked up here and there like later on down the line, but we lost touch for like 30 years. You know, she left Southie, she got away before, you know, and she made the smart choice.
Smart girl, yeah.
And it's funny, she works in banking, right? She started out as a bank teller at 16, and now she's like, you know, she's like a high up in corporate and stuff, you know? And super intelligent girl, super driven, you know? And so I hit her up on Facebook. When I was in the sober house in Dorchester, I hit her up on Facebook. And it took her like a good 2 weeks to hit me back. And the whole time she told me, she just kept thinking like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going down there. Because she knows me, obviously, like, you know, I cheated on her when we were kids, and she just knows how I am, right? So she's like,
She knows how you were.
yeah, how I was, exactly. Thank you. So she goes,